All right. The challenge is I cannot see myself, but anyway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of Applied Neolife on a different platform. So first of all, I would like to express my appreciation to Andrew Bugembe for hosting us. And in this month of November, we have been focusing on the health of men, because I totally believe that with healthier men, we can all have a much, much wealthier world, wealthier nation, wealthier families even. And so the month of November was dubbed Movember for Men's Health Awareness Month. And my question, and it's quite a serious question, are we concerned enough about our men to speak frankly and encourage lifestyle change? So this is the month that we focus, and why we need to focus on men is basically because I have observed that men are socialized to not complain even when signs and symptoms of poor health begin to manifest. And unfortunately, this characteristic has been greatly exploited by certain sectors of business, commerce, and industry. And the cost to society, beginning with the emotional and financial toll on families, can be very, very high. So we are calling out to all of society, beginning with men, to consider what changes they can make, because for there to be change, first there must be willingness to face the current reality, and then to acknowledge the need for change. Now, this particular year, there has been a focus on mental health, men's mental health. And for the whole month, I've heard nothing else on radio but a call to men to come forward if they need help, to be more vulnerable, and also to understand that there is help. Now, I truly believe that the family we belong to has a lot of solutions. Yes, men have to remain strong. They have to balance a lot of things in life. And so I just want to introduce ourselves. And it turns out that one of the panelists is my partner in business. He's sitting here with me. And just to say, we are on a mission to make the world healthier and free of financial stress as a family, the Neolife family. So we do that by empowering ourselves and each other. And that's why I chose this particular picture, because of having a friend in the picture as well. I hope she has logged on already. And so we empower ourselves and each other with concepts that the Neolife family embraces. For those of you who might be wondering, that was at our Impact Summit in October. Now, we are blessed and totally privileged to belong to a business whose ethic is everything is based in nature and it is backed by science. These are the scientists, the Scientific Advisory Board. It was founded by Dr. Arthur First, who came to Neolife in the 70s and founded this board. And with his immense knowledge in toxicology, pharmacology, cancer research. In fact, he was a pioneer of oral chemotherapy. And when he came to Neolife, he contributed a lot of world firsts in nutrition, because his ethic was that nutrition is the key to prevention even of cancer. So we are very, very excited to be sharing what we have in this family. And the difference with Neolife is that everything is done at a cellular level. We consider ourselves all over 70 trillion cells that make up our bodies. And we consider the cell and the organelles within the cell. So for the guests, I just want you to know that disease doesn't start when you first feel that pain. It actually starts way before with malfunction or dysfunction of cells, and particularly the mitochondria. Those are the energy producing parts of the cells. So we have nutrition supplements, the finest whole food nutrition supplements since 1958, with our flagship product called TriNN, because Neolife and the Scientific Advisory Board taught us that with the right nutrition, your cells can perform their very best for your well-being. So here we have it. This is as simple as we can get, right? Disease prevention news is right there. Weight management, physical activity, and a diet rich in whole food nutrients. So this is a call to action, and I'm hoping that there'll be lots and lots of questions in the chat. I will screen them and present them to the panelists. If there's a need to unmute somebody, we'll see about that, okay? But the call to action is this, that in order for there to be success, yeah, it occurs when your dreams get bigger than your excuses. That's what happens. So this is our panel of amazing people. They're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Dr. Edward Nambasi.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Nice to see you on the call. Married to this wonderful lady here. We have 3 grown children and 2 grandchildren who are quite a handful, but they are the reason why we continue to remain as young as we are, and as well as the products that we use. So without much further ado, I look forward to this interactive program that we have tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Kabuga.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eseza and Edward. Good evening, everyone. I know this is an international call. Everyone from South Africa, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Malawi, and those from everywhere, including those from my home country, Uganda. My name is Becca Kabugo. I'm a professional doctor, and I retired, currently doing the Neolife business and my agricultural projects, quite enjoying retirement after finding Neolife as a retirement option that is satisfying. So I'm grateful to be part of you today. And discussion about men are the engine of the family. So this is quite an interesting topic, and I'm so privileged to be part of the panelists. Thank you very much, Ethesa, for inviting.
Pleasure. Thank you. Then Andrew Bugembe.
Good evening to everybody on the call. Very happy to be part of this wonderful panel. Of course, sharing it with Dr. Edward and Dr. Kaugo, together with you as our hosts. Thank you so much for putting together these Tuesday trainings that we have every other week. My name is Bugembe Andrew, and I've been a part of the Neolife Opportunity for the last 20 years. I started when I was a student at the university pursuing my electrical engineering degree, and decided to take on this Neolife Opportunity as a part-time business at the time. I started in a very, very humble way. I was able to go through the ranks that the Neolife Opportunity has to offer. I remember 6 months down the road, I was earning about $500. And then in about 2 years in my second year, second semester, I was earning about $1,000. So by the time I left the university, I found that I did not really need to be employed because Neolife was sufficiently giving me enough income to take care of myself. And I decided I could not go back and start at a much lower rank, because at the time I finished my university, the opportunity that we have before us was giving me a substantial amount of income. Today I've gone on and done a couple of more things, but my major interest today is to actually be able to empower others to also be able to take financial control of their future so that they are financially secure and independent. So if you're in the call this evening, we look forward to sharing a bit of that in addition to the health with you this evening. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen on the call, guests and distributors alike, this is actually a Q&A. You are welcome to ask questions. We'll stop the share. Yeah, thank you. So there you go. You are welcome to ask questions. And I just want to look at the chat as questions come in. You are all invited to participate. But I have a few questions for you. And I will start with Dr. Eddie. I know you are particularly passionate about the health of pregnant women and their babies. This may be an opportunity to discuss during this particular month of Men's Health Month, what advice you could give to men about being supportive to their partners, and also how can Neolife help them as families?
Thank you very much for that. I think if we look at health in its totality, it's not just a matter of the absence of physical ailment, but it's also a composition of several spheres of your life, including your mental well-being, financial well-being, your relationships, your connection to the Creator, among other things. So when you're married in a relationship, the way that you bring peace around and contentment in your heart is how you relate to the person in your life. And because you come together as individuals with very disparate backgrounds, you have to find common ground. Now we have the Neolife opportunity, which involves meeting people and a wonderful opportunity to maintain your health as well and change the health of your household. Now, done together, working together as a couple, that immediately gets you to find something in common that can get you together. And of course, as your health improves, your attitude also improves. So my recommendation to whoever out there is considering this opportunity, think of it as having a multitude of benefits, and not least of which is actually binding families together. Because it's not only just husband and wife doing it, but involving the children as well for the entire welfare of the household. So for the men out there, one of the best things you can do for your partner is get into an opportunity like this one that you can do together. Unlike your office job, or like in my case, when I go to hospital to look after pregnant moms, I can't take my wife along with me. But with Neolife, you sit together, you plan together, and like now we're doing this session together. That's a very big help. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I will continue to wait for questions in the chat. So meanwhile, I'll ask Dr. Kabugo. I know you're very, very passionate about family health and particularly metabolic disorders. You seem to be quite an expert in unpacking metabolic disorders and issues such as blood pressure, diabetes, and how they can be prevented. Now, I would like you to speak to the men specifically, and perhaps include the rest of us who are listening. But yeah, give us your take on that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eseza. As a man on the 5th floor, I have looked at the trend of health. And that is one of the reasons that I came to love Neolife. Neolife reminds you of the last stage of your life on earth, because we have 4 stages. We have from 0 to 20 years. We call it the dependent stage. That is when we are still young. We have 20 to 40 years. That is mostly the reproductive years. That is when we are giving birth to the children. And we are having the advanced stage. That is 40 to 60 years. That is when we are covering our secondary responsibilities. We are concluding with the responsibilities of school fees and whatever. And then we have the final stage of life, which we normally call the elderly stage. That is when you're retired and you're 60 to 80. And now, like for me, the person who believes in the Bible says that we live on earth 70 years. And if you're strong enough, you live 80. So I believe by 80, we would be gone. But unfortunately, many of the men do die in the stages. That is the 3rd stage. That is the advanced stage. That is between 40 and 60. And very few live in the elderly stage of 60 to 80. Now, why am I talking about that? It's because between 20 years and 40 years, our lifestyle is not good. The way we feed ourselves. When you will look at many of the men who get sick at 40 and above, most of them do not have infectious diseases. They are having metabolic syndrome. They are having diseases that are attributed to lifestyle, and lifestyle most especially because of the diet. Between 20 and 40, that is when we have some money, and that money is giving us purchasing power, whereby we will purchase whatever we think we want, and unfortunately that we normally desire what is unhealthy in form of diet. And now that brings about the other part you've talked about, the metabolic diseases. Those are the diseases that come because of poor lifestyle, mostly because of our diet. And second, because that 2nd stage, 20 to 40, we are always so busy. We are at work, being employed. You find that we do not have enough time to sleep. Many of us carry even the work from office, we take it home. We tend to sleep past midnight. We do not rest enough. And that itself creates pressure on our brains. And you know, that is why you will realize that many people around 50 years and above, they are having brain atrophy, or what we call small brain disease or syndrome. Now, this is a combination of a number of things. That's why I say, me, I'm a victim. I am a victim who is past it. By that age, that is when I contracted my hypertension, which was so bad to the extent that my pressure ranges were at 200, that is the upper part, and then the lower was 115. I had to get, I had all signs of getting a stroke and all signs of getting a heart attack, but I was a doctor who could access all sorts of drugs. But because of my lifestyle, I would not make it to have very good health. And if it were not because of Neolife, I don't think that I would be alive now. So now going back to the point you said, I would like to talk to all men 20 years and above, those who are in the reproductive stage where we have a lot of purchasing power, let us mind our lifestyle. Let us mind our diet. Second, we are not given chance to eat healthy food. We always eat junk because of the workload that we have. Let us embrace the culture of supplementing so that we can give our body the right nutrients so that we can prevent metabolic syndrome. It is very bad, and that is the leading killer of people above 50 years. Thank you. I think that is where I can stop. We have a lot we can talk about metabolic syndrome and my passion with it and the family.
I'm equally passionate about the metabolic syndrome, and gentlemen and ladies, you might be surprised, I'm very passionate about men's health. And that's why whenever it comes up, I will take the opportunity to discuss it. But at the same time, I know for a fact that one of the biggest reasons for metabolic disorders is stress. And then I also know for a fact that one of the biggest causes of stress is the financial situation in anybody's life, okay? So that's where I want to call Andrew, just to say in a heartfelt way, we really respect you, Andrew, for the way you have taken up the leadership role. And I dare say almost in a sacrificial way, so that you enable others to succeed. And I salute you. I don't know, I might be not speaking only on my behalf, but if anybody else agrees, just put your thumbs up or do something. Anyway, Andrew, may I ask you to talk to us about the rewards you receive and anybody can receive when you really take it upon yourself in this family of Neoline to enable others to succeed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very, Doctor, and thank you for those compliments. I salute you as well, Dr. Edward and Dr. Eseza. It's such a pleasure to be a part of your wonderful team. And Dr. Kabugover, thank you very much for those inputs. Actually, the 4 stages make a lot of sense. So, Dr. Eseza, in regards to what you've just asked, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, maybe what I'll comment is that this, of course, being one of those evenings where we share on men's health, I think what I have come to notice is that, like you've said, financial stress, which is coupled together with mental health, then the physical stress, the mental stress, then physical stress, then the financial stress. All those things probably are things that, like Dr. Kavogo has said, cause a number of men to stop between 40 and 60. What he has called the advanced stage. Yeah, but I must say that Neolife, in my view, has provided me with such a wonderful opportunity. I cannot thank God enough for having seen this business. Dr. Kavogo, what was the second stage? It was the
Is the reproductive stage, 20 to 40.
Yes, I thank God I saw this opportunity at the beginning of the reproductive stage, because I think for me that has been like a fairy tale all the way. I usually tell people I literally stopped worrying about money 5 years down the road doing this business. So I tell you, when I was 20, by 25, money was not something that I would sit down and worry endlessly about. And yet so many young people and so many men, for that matter, since we're talking about men, I think one of their leading worries is money, because the pressure to provide is definitely something that they carry alongside. The pressure to ensure that they are people of significance, they become people of significance in society, is something they probably carry along. So one of the things that I think New Life for me was able to do for me quite early in life, it was able to organize those areas. I've referred to them as, I mean, when you look at it very, very critically, you're looking at financial stress. If you build this business, give it 2-3 years, build it solidly. My other plans, Mr. Kanaka usually says, okay, so Miriam also says it, that if you have, if you're earning about $1,000 in Uganda, please note, in East Africa, you are probably likely to survive through the month comfortably for, I don't know, for as long as it could possibly be. $1,000 may not be enough in Europe or other developed countries, but in Uganda, if you're earning about $1,000, you're probably above average, you know. And so if you've built a business that can actually pay you $1,000, which business you can build within a space of 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 years, while you have put in the effort and you are actually focused on building it, you're definitely going to get rid of the financial stress aspect of it, you know. And for me, that was very crucial. The mental health definitely comes alongside the fact that you're able to say you've done away with your financial insecurity, you know, and this has really also negatively impacted people. People are at workplaces, but they do not know what their future holds. They're not sure about what tomorrow holds. I mean, we saw that all throughout COVID. I just want you to imagine waking up one morning and what you've been relying on to provide for your family no longer exists. And just by nature or by forces of nature. I mean, and you're thinking about what next? Where do I start from? You know, it can be quite devastating. So one of the things I feel New Life has really done in that aspect is also to extremely help with the mental health. And that comes with also the travel. I know Dr. Kavugo started mainly for the travel. We can't wait to see you in Cape Town, Dr. Kavugo. Yeah, started with the travel. The travel is amazing because for one reason or the other, you kind of take a backseat and reflect on life in a totally different environment, and you kind of refresh. You basically just get renewed as you go through these travels. So you can imagine. For me, for example, I've been traveling with New Life since 2008, and I mean, those are how many years now? Probably about 17 years of travel every single year, courtesy of this wonderful opportunity. I don't know. I find it difficult to get stressed mentally, honestly speaking, despite the fact that I am not I'm not devoid of troubles and stresses of this life, but I find myself living a very relaxed and comfortable life because of the kind of training and environment that New Life has put us through. And then last but not least, the physical health, which basically deals with your well-being as a human being. It's been a little bit enlightening. 20 years down the road, I mean, I said at 20, now I'm 39, turning 40 next year. But I find that many of my friends who are turning 40 next year are grappling with many health issues. And well, these were things we thought that were very far from us. You know, I mean, you'd see them in maybe the Dr. Esezas and the Dr. Kavugos, but these are things that are now literally with me. Things that I used to say, I am young, I don't think this is going to happen to me anytime soon. I see it happening to my colleagues. I see my colleagues talking about diabetes and pressure, and I see them talking about different ailments. So when you look at all those three aspects, more so in the aspect of what we are discussing today, and that is men's health, I feel this is something that, this opportunity is something that really caters for a man's well-being quite well. I think I'll stop there to allow
Yes.
more questions.
Yes. Before I ask any questions, we've got a question here from someone in the audience. How can we help men to go for medical checkup, especially the PSA, that is a prostate-specific antigen test, and other health issues before life worsens, before they become really sick? Because some men smoke, take a lot of alcohol. A certain man asked, the person asking this question, what does he benefit when he denies where, he denies himself, whereas his internal organs are positive? I suppose that means he doesn't feel anything. And that's a challenge, isn't it? If you don't have the knowledge, you will just take it very, very casually. So apart from praying for his friend, he had no answer. So to the doctors on the panel, perhaps we'll start with Dr. Kabugo to comment on that one. A lot of people don't feel something. And just to let everybody on the call know, I've been preaching a lot of things. And one preach I took on for myself was the preach of cleaning products. And you might ask yourselves, but what in the world does cleaning have to do with our health? So Dr. Kabugo, perhaps you want to answer, you'll add to that, and then Dr. Nambasi will also add something.
Thank you. And I think the person who has asked that question must have a mindset like mine. And the reason why I say that, I'm a person who was saved by God, because by the time I retired, as I told you, that my hypertension was so worse to the extent that I had all signs of having a stroke or a heart attack. By the time I was retiring, my colleagues thought I would be dead in the next 2 years. Fortunately, now I'm past the 2 years. I'm now 4 years, courtesy of Neolife. But a person like that, you need to show that person the good of living longer. Show that person that it is better to live in the final stage of life, 60 years and 80 years, when you are elder. I personally, as Baker, believe that advanced age is a stage where someone, especially elder stage, where someone must experience life of fulfillment, since much of the obligation of raising the children and working in civil and public service has been concluded. Now, that person can get a purpose of living a life of happiness and contentment. If a person does not have a long-range view of living a happy, healthy, and productive life, that person will not mind about his health. And one of the things that will normally make you stand out as a man is the prostate. And that's it. That is what is making you a man. And if you create awareness of the urgency of this person knowing his prostate health, because if you're like me now, because I'm going to start traveling, now I'm going to Cape Town, and I'm going to go with my wife. If I am having prostate cancer, how will I enjoy Cape Town with my wife? Remember, we are retired. All the children are gone. We need to live a life of purpose. If this person can understand the value of having healthy organs, mostly the prostate, that person will take action to go for a PSA test. And not only the PSA, what about the kidneys? We are having a number of renal failures that is going on. Many men these days, actually, the numbers are increasing who are on dialysis, 50 years and above. They need to know how their kidneys are working. Now, when we look at the sizes, the weight that our men are having, with a lot of fat, having a problem with fatty liver disease, it is not the prostate only. It is all body organs. All body organs should be functional. That is how you are going to live a longer, happier, healthy, and productive life. Now, that's what I will tell you, because my purpose now is to make sure that I give myself happiness at retirement. And if a person wants to be like me, surely you are going to come onto Neolife. Another part of it is about your finances. You have secured and you have been given some of your gratuity. And are you going to use it for treatment, to treat yourself because you are having health issues? This is money you are supposed to be given to enjoy because you gave in your service, you served. But now if you are going to spend this money on health because you neglected going for a PSA test, which is not even equivalent to $50, then that is so bad for you, so bad. And actually, you cannot even blame God when you die before 50 because you do not have value for life. Basically, that's what I can say regarding that question. But at the same time, you need more money. You know, during old age or advanced age, when we are working in the reproductive age, there are so many things that we decide not to do because we are so busy. For example, traveling. I normally use an example. Many of people in 50 years and above do not know Kampala. They have never toured Kampala. And that is where they are working because they wake up in the morning, they come to work, in the evening at 5, they go back home, and that is the trend for 20 years. This is the time you are supposed to travel and tour the whole Kampala. This is the time you are supposed to tour the whole country because now your responsibility has reduced. You are having a stable income that is in investment, but at the same time you are having additional income in Neolife. You can travel wherever you want. That is by yourself, you sponsoring yourself. But the good thing with Neolife also sponsors you because when it sees you are retired, it says, then what next? If you have been working with me, come, let me travel with you. Travel with me as we work together. That's why that person should respect the value of good, healthy organs in order to live a happy, healthy, and productive elderly life. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm sure you have actually covered the importance of prevention of situations. I think that's where that question was leading. But now we have a question about type 1 diabetes patients who apparently are discouraged from using supplements. Some doctors argue that supplements might disorganize their blood sugars. So I think this question to me talks about differences in supplements, because there are supplements and then there are supplements. And we are so proud of the Neolife difference. I try to highlight some aspects of the Neolife difference. But now, what do you tell people? Dr. Nambasi and Andrew, you can also pitch in, and Dr. Kabugo. What do you tell people when they come up with such an assertion that we mustn't use supplements because they're going to disorganize the results of the blood tests? What do we tell them? I mean, I'm just thinking of how my particular testimony, I started on botanical balance, not because I am diabetic, but because I use my products. And the spin-off, this lovely surprise, it was almost like a cherry on top, was that my weight management went to another level. I am now totally weight managed. Okay, so what do you say to people who come up with, oh, but my doctor said I mustn't?
I think that the main thing is to realize that when we talk supplementation, we're talking about whole food nutrition for your life. And perhaps the first thing that I would suggest to anybody who's on your products is gauge what kind of doctor you're seeing. Okay? If it's a traditional doctor who is averse to hearing anything or thinking that if you take supplements, you might become better and he loses income, then it might be just an idea not even to mention it. But just to reassure us as distributors, your supplements will actually, yes, disorganize the sugar in the right direction. Like, for example, if you take botanical balance, it will help to control the sugar. Now, the main thing about things like diabetes, especially type 1, is a chronic illness. Please do not neglect to do your follow-up with the doctor. Do not neglect looking after your diet. And at the same time, do not neglect checking your blood sugar, because as you supplement, eventually your sugar will become more and more easily managed and you require less and less insulin. But it's important that you work hand in hand with the doctor on that score. But the bottom line is, these are food-based, whole food, and therefore are not drugs or anything like that. And except for a couple of interactions, like for example, if you're on blood thinners, like warfarin, etc., then in that case, you have to be careful with things like garlic and omega salmon oil, because those two in themselves actually help blood thinning. So the doctor needs to know and therefore adjust your medication accordingly. But apart from that, I can't think of any other thing where food interferes with medical treatment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other additions, Andrew?
Yeah. Yes. I think I'm speaking from, but I've also seen doctors who have struggled to do health checkups because they don't want to know the unknown. Yeah, but I think it's I'm trying to see how I can put it across. There is nothing as terrible as not knowing what state your body is in. And I think people always want to wait for the last minute. And I think in the last couple of months, beginning with my very own self, what I've had to experience with my father getting a stroke, to a couple of other people that within the same time I have seen, because I've been around the hospital area. And I've noticed not many people don't want to die at the time they're going to die. Everyone wants to stay alive at that point. But unfortunately, at that point, a number of things have gone wrong. And really, the best you can do is regret. When I started the opportunity, I remember some of the things that some of our leaders kept on saying is that you'd want to see your grandchildren getting married. And I usually play with the image of that. Dr. Kabuko, all the children have left the home. Probably is now at the phase of also becoming a grandfather, but you would want to play the picture of yourself seated in a room and you're seeing your grandchild walking down the aisle. In what state will you be? How will your health look like at that point in time? Will they be rolling you in on a wheelchair? Will you be able to take yourself to the toilet? And for me, that image has played in my mind ever since I started the business. Steve Covey says, begin with the end in mind. If you see yourself at 90, 80, like Dr. Kabuga has specified, if you see yourself in those years, how do you want to see yourself? Charlie recently shared with us his story of Charlie's, he wants to die healthy. Have you thought about dying healthy? What does it mean? Do you have to go by the hospital? Must you go to Ward 6C in Mulago? Sometimes some of these wards here in Uganda, when they hear you've gone to Ward 6C, people begin knowing that you're not coming back. That's the thinking that happens here. But I think And unfortunately, I think that's also a very hard thing. So unfortunately, the person who asked, I think it was MRK, unfortunately, some people don't see that far. And it's not your job to make them see that far. As long as you have presented what you have to present, like you've done, you have nothing to say but to pray for them because you've really done your part. And I can tell you whether it is my very close relative, whether it is actually Irene herself, I believe that if you've done your part of giving the person the information and the knowledge that they need to be somewhere in life or to look at something in life, whether they take it up or not is not something that should really bother you. But going back to this whole health checkup thing, ladies and gentlemen, all of us on the call, please take some of these things very seriously. Actually, our founder, Jerry Brasfield, at the time when Paris, was it Paris or Mauritius? But it was Paris. He was just from a checkup in Germany. Now, apparently, Germany has the best checkup services all across the world. And he had been there with Kendra, with Suzanne, his wife, and then also himself. By the time our puts off time and resources to go and do a proper body checkup. And this is someone that I believe, for me, I've been here for 20 years. I've really just come to appreciate just a small bit of what New Life has to offer. What about Jerry, who has been with the company for 66 years? He still appreciates the importance of going out there and making sure that your body is in good shape. And no one does that best other than the people that know how to check some of these things. So for me, that is just my advice. Make it a habit in your calendar every single year. Make sure you have a slot where you invest and put aside money to do a serious, thorough checkup. If you're on the call, you don't even know what your blood pressure is like, shame on you. If you're on the call, you don't know what your blood sugar level is like, shame on you. You cannot be a distributor who does not know and have an idea of what those figures are like. Yeah, because you have to have an idea. And these are things that are not complicated. If you do not know what your heart rate is, then shame on you. You should know what your heart rate is. You should know what the heart rate is supposed to be. That is not information that is only put aside for doctors to know. It is our responsibility in regards to our health to know some of these things. That is my 2 cents, Dr. Cesar. I don't know if it has made sense.
No, you've made absolute sense. And to this now, I'm opening up a broad question. You know, I've been pointing out 5 aspects of lifestyle. You need to take note of your diet and be very strict about your diet. You need to ensure adequate rest and sleep. All those contribute to your health. One needs to also make sure that they exercise. You know, for some people, exercise is a swear word, okay? But one has to move the body. And then you need to make sure that you manage stress. We've already agreed, and Dr. Kabugo put it so nicely, that it causes the brain to shrink if the brain is burdened by too much stress. And that has been the focus this month, and about mental health. And then supplementation. Yes, people love to tick that box, but what supplements are they using, and what supplements are the guests on this call using, if you are using supplements? Because we are here to actually share information about leading supplements, the world's leading supplements. Why? Because they're made out of human food, which has not been genetically modified in any way. So with that summary, I want to open up a question about the habits. What are the habits that ensure success in Neolife? I'd like to hear from each one of you. Perhaps I'll start with the most senior here. What are the habits that ensure success in Neolife? And then we'll go around.
I think, as they say, charity begins at home, and the use of the product. And that's why it's number 1 when you're doing a plan. Use your product. And when I say use, it's no good just stopping at tree and name that you start with when you start a business. But as you grow in the business, you increase the number that you take so that you're on a broad spectrum. And when you're taking them, you take them on a daily basis. Not when you feel, oh, I've got a bit of stress here, I've got a bit of a headache, and then for the next 3 days you're not doing anything. So that's very important to me, that you actually use your products and use them well. Then I might throw in here something that I wanted to say a bit earlier on, that the body is wonderfully and fearfully created by the Lord. So at whatever stage you are, if you start supplementation and clean up all the other habits that you've just spoken about, diet, etc., the body has got immense capacity to repair itself. So it's never too late to start. And that's for all the guests out there, distributors who haven't yet started taking many products, it's never too late to start. Thank you.
Awesome. Perhaps team, family, you've understood and have begun to appreciate why I've been hammering away at Near Life Shake. It's a wonderful product. Just build your business, step up, and for those of you in Uganda, I understand there is a good incentive on. Okay, another success habit. Who would like to take it on? Dr. Kabugo?
Yes, I can take it on. That success habit, it is what is moving me. And actually, when I say that I want to live a productive elderly life, I mean I must have contribution to the people who make the society I'm living in. And after I used the products, you remember I talked about my experience of hypertension, I took it a habit to share my own experience about the products with a number of people. You know, in the medical field, we do not explain what we call the mechanism of action of certain drugs because we believe that the people we are talking to did not study pharmacology and they cannot understand what we are talking about. But if we explain to the people how our products have improved our lives, that is what we call sharing your product experience, and you make it a habit, you are going to be a productive person to the people you're in. And I found it that it is a habit in Neolife. And this habit of sharing has led to many people asking me, how can I get those products? And well, when you ask me that product, you are as if telling me, how can you earn from me? Because Neolife wants me to direct you to the company to go and buy for yourself. And when you go and buy for yourself, the company is appreciating me for directing you. And how did I direct you? By telling you the experience I got when I used the product, and you are interested in using the products. And your buying will bring in money into my pocket. I am appreciated with a commission, which I highly appreciate until now. So the second habit, in addition to using the product, please ensure that you share your product experience and the opportunity of connecting people to Neolife so that they can also be healthy and you be productive to them and to the society at large.
Awesome. Now, many of you won't know this, but Andrew started a system of getting us up very early in the morning to come together and learn together. Personal development, that is another success habit, which I'm going to request Andrew to talk about as one of the key habits.
All right. Yes, the first is you, then you share in your life. Doctor, I also like to insist that I think the foundation of our business is in getting this information to someone new every single day. That's the foundation of the business. I mean, yes, we use the products. We are going to attend the trainings because we need that information and we need that experience to tell someone else next door. You know, so for those that are on the call, a very important habit that you have to to have within your schedule every single day is the habit of sharing your life. And I usually add to at least 2 people. If you've done and you've shared your life to at least 2 people every single day, then you're good to go. Then personal development. I mean, by the time I left the university, by the time I was in my 3rd year at the university, I even just laugh it off. But the level of personal development I had experienced, the level of knowledge I had was, if I were to equate it, was more like knowledge of a senior executive out there, because I was sitting with the rest of the presence team members and senior executives all across the world from New Life to actually plan and grow the New Life opportunity or business right here in East Africa. You don't just get to that point by mistake. There must be personal development that takes place. And of course, we have had to go through series. People usually say, doesn't that training end? But the personal development is a continuous process. When you stop growing, you start dying. When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. You know, these are things that we have shared with you over the years. You know, and I just, wanted to just share something now, maybe from my study, my conclusion. We have talked about using the products, and that's very key. You know, people are so excited about all forms of advancements, you know. I mean, people are excited about AI, people are excited about 5G expansion and all forms of technologies, cars that are automated. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in the world of nutrition, we are the leaders, and we are the AI, we are the auto cars that people are driving. If you're not yet acquainted with supplements, I feel sorry for you. You know, again, just my very small testimony, I shared it last week. I kept on moving around the environment I was in when I was involved in that incident with my father. And I kept on seeing people preparing for their sick people, all sorts of things, from very apparently good soya porridge and to bushera. And I was thinking to myself, do these people know that the level of nutrition in what they are giving their people is literally, inexistent compared to the New Life Shake, And for me, it really dawned on me that people are still ignorant. People still need our help. We still need to help people change their mindsets. Because when they see the supplements, they see medication, they see toxins in the supplements. But we still have a very important message to reach out to people out there, that the way they see their phones with the latest 5G car logo there is the same way they should look at that supplement, that it is the latest in the world of nutrition. There is no food that you're going to take, especially if it has been prepared by Neolife. I cannot speak for the other companies, but especially if it has been prepared by Neolife, that is going to equate to any plate of food you'll ever eat out there. There is nothing. No wonder Charlie takes a meal once a day and spends his entire day on supplements and Neolife Shake and Aloe Vera Plus. Because when you compare the two, the value you get from your plate of food that you've picked up from the market and the value you get from this specially prepared food that has been put in form of a supplement, you just can't compare the two. This supplement is the AI, it is the 5G, it is the latest thing that is there today in 2024. If you either jump on board and become a user, a believer, whatever you want to call it, or you remain in the old age and in the past with your small phone, the touch phone, trying to access internet with it. Yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you very much, Dr. Eseza, for this opportunity.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I just want to reiterate to the visitors, to the guests, please turn to the person that got you onto this call and ask them how you can get a hold of what you have heard today. there is a financial opportunity. You've heard that stress can be beaten. We can actually all participate in the mission to make the world healthier and free of financial stress. There is logic, absolute logic. We will have more of these sessions in the near future. But for this one, I think we have reached the top of the hour, and so we need to log off. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you to the panelists, the one that I live with in the house, Dr. Kabugo and Mr. Andrew Kugembe. Well done, well done. This has been phenomenal. Thank you very much.